Go on, Jordan.
Can I just flag something a bit more lighthearted? I mean, I saw one video I did see over the summer. I saw our brother Curtis talking about the 14, the 14 shirt going to Gyökeres, and he said that the shirt should have been retired after, like, it should have been retired, right, because of Thierry Henry's legacy. I was like, what? didn't quite like the whole number thing. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about the number thing. I don't care. It's not important to me. But when he said that, I'm gonna text him later and be like,
I said it as well, so you can say it straight.
You did it as well. I'm texting you too, then, Turkish. What are we doing here?
Bro, did you know the fond memories that this number and this man gave me as an Arsenal fan? But I get it, I get that. It's unrealistic, but
I just the whole Gyökeres getting the number 14. I'm like, I don't know. I don't
have a problem with Gyökeres getting it. By the way, it's just
I don't think centre forward number 9 should have a 14. I don't know, listen, I've brought up, if I got number 14 like that, I didn't want number 14 as a bloody sub. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, Thierry Henry has made this. I don't think it's such a big thing, I think Gyökeres should have had the 10, in my opinion.
Nah, man. I think give Eze that.
More of a forwards number, is it? A 10's more of a forwards number. I think 14's more of a winger's number, isn't it? Or am I just?
But guys, it doesn't matter what we think of the numbers. It matters whether Gyökeres cares about it. And I don't know if I saw a quote from him, but the point is he knows that number carries weight in the fan base, and he's decided he wants it. So, whatever we think, he's inviting pressure on himself.
But I guess that's my point, though. The pressure, I don't think that number has pressure on it. I know we all deify Henry. Greatest player to play for Arsenal, probably in my opinion. I'm sure some of you would agree with that. I love Thierry Henry. But when he said retire the shirt, I mean, Maldini won bloody 5 Champions Leagues over 20 years for Milan. Like, you might retire that shirt. Like, Liverpool have just retired Jota's 2020 shirt. He's passed away. Like, the point I'm making is that the bar, I think, is a bit low. To retire Henry's number 14, I just thought, what? It's such a low bar.
Listen,
do you know what it is? Because the club have also, gone. I mean, since that era, the way we've moved and what the way we move has produced has made that era even more one that I look at and just hold up to such a high regard. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas, maybe you look at a Man United who had great strikers, York, Cole, but then they went on to have great strikers in Rooney or Tevez or Berbatov or Christian. Whereas we, after that era, and then you see Eddie Nketiah running around with the number 14 on, and you think, like, once upon a time I saw a real magician in this shirt. Like, let me just leave that image in my head. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm actually wrong. I agree with you. Like, you can't be retiring the shirt, but still, it's the club's fault. Like, it's the club's fault how me feeling more about it now than I did, 15 years ago.
But to be fair, guys, we're talking about our greatest ever player, our greatest ever goal scorer, a man who's got a statue outside the Emirates, a man who, like, he's an invincible.
But
what did he win?
Shirt, James. That feels like.
But we're not. I'd agree if we. So I think we talked about this Turkish. I'd agree if he wore the number 9. I wouldn't retire that because it's such a. It's one of the key. If it's 1 to 11, I think you've got to have done something like beyond. Like you mentioned Maldini. But because it's 14, who cares about the 14? It's made iconic by him. He made that number a number that people wanted to wear. So I think retiring it to honor that would have been cool. Like I said, if he wore 7 or 10 or 11 or 9, I would say no, probably not, because that's a number that someone should be representing Arsenal in. But 14, I mean, you can Walcott, Aubameyang, and Nketiah, now Gyökeres since. Like, none of them are going to be Thierry Henry. So just retire it.
But I think the point I'm making is, and it's quite frivolous, but I don't think Thierry Henry, no matter what number he wore, I don't think he did enough to retire any number. He was a great, but he didn't win us a Champions League final. He wasn't with us for 30 years.
An invincible. Like, we've got.
But the impact he had.
Come on, retiring a shirt number.
He wasn't just a goal scorer. He's seen by many as the greatest Premier League player ever. Like, I don't really know what more he could have done. I know you mean win the Champions League, but like, you know, okay, we're a red card or like, you know, defending a near post away from actually having that.
Never
trophy.
scored in a final, James.
Sorry?
Never scored in a final.
Aye. Let's not. We're going into.
No,
I
I just
don't wanna
like,
be
you know
into
what I
it
mean.
here.
At the end of the day,
Oh,
listen,
my
I'm
word.
not to being invincible. To being invincible, you don't become an invincible without Patrick Vieira. You don't become an invincible without Thierry Henry. You don't become an invincible without Robert Perez. So I don't think you should do one. If you're going to do that, you've got to do it with a lot of them. So
you don't do anything in football without the others.
Yeah,
you don't score. You don't score in a final without the others playing their part as well.
Exactly. It's a team. I tell you, Arsenal do not win the things that they won if Patrick Vieira does not play in that team.
But there's someone that
more contributions than anybody. If you have a look at all the big games, Henry at Old Trafford wasn't there. Bergkamp wasn't there. Vieira was. Vieira's a big part of it. And not being horrible, Per Mertesacker wear the number 4 after him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so you can be. I don't think. I get what you're saying about Thierry Henry. I don't think he should be retiring any number. That's my opinion.
But what we're saying is he made a number iconic. I promise you, before Thierry,
100% he did. Martin Keown wore it before him. If I believe it. Was it Martin Keown?
Exactly. So when you've taken a number and you've met, and by the way, I'm probably insulting other greats who have worn the 14 before, but when it comes to our club and maybe in the Premier League, I imagine there is like
100%. I agree with what
Thierry Henry made it a number that honestly I remember rocking up to football on Sundays. The striker wanted to wear 14, like not number 9. That's crazy.
That's a fantastic point. Yeah, because like before the 7, the 9, the 10 have been going through years and years.
Yeah.
100%. He made 14 an iconic number. He's made 14 like a 7 and a 10, isn't he? Like, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I get.
What about your namesake? Because Michael Jordan needed Scottie Pippen, he needed Dennis Rodman, but it's the 23 that gets retired because he is the star.
But I'm glad you mentioned that. Because James said no. If it was like a 9, you can't retire that. If Thierry Henry won 4 Champions Leagues, 4 Premier Leagues, greatest scorer in Arsenal's history, greatest Prem, I wouldn't be against retiring number 9. Like if he did all of that, and someone said we should retire the number 9 shirt, I wouldn't be against that. So the numbers irrelevant. It's just the idea of retiring a number. The bar's got to be high. I mean, Michael Jordan, look at what he did. If someone said 23, we're retiring it, I'd be like, cool. Because what he did was off the charts. It was off the charts. So the club are going to retire that number. No arguments. But when Curtis said retire it, he might have been tongue-in-cheek. I'll watch it back.
I just don't know why we're acting like what Thierry Henry did wasn't off the charts.
Yeah,
maybe in terms of team accolades, like, there could have been maybe a couple more. But you know, 3 titles, invincible, the goals, and also the football he played. He wasn't just a goal scorer. Like, we're giving Gyökeres is wearing the number 14 shirt, but all I need him to do is put the ball in the back of the net. I'm not asking him to look like a gazelle, just gliding through players and mesmerizing, getting us off his feet. Gyökeres isn't going to do that. But Henry was both the player you wanted to watch with the numbers to go with it. I mean, he was off the charts. So we should retire
for France, but they don't retire his number.
No, but I mean, like, I get what you're saying. But even that that number 5 with Zidane, I mean, the number 10.
No, 10 for France. He was 10.
Yeah, I know 10.
12. Henry was 12 for France. I don't think he was even 14 for France, was he?
No, he was 12.
No, 12 was his favourite number. He was 12. He was 28 at Monaco, changed to 12, came to Arsenal, took 14. That's why he took 12 when he came back.
Yeah. Yeah. So 14's not his favourite number.
He just made. I mean, Van Basten, obviously, in terms of world football, he was a number 14, and he was, he made it what it was. But obviously, I think you're right, James. He was off the charts. Henry, from when opposition fans tend to agree generally that the best player in Premier League history,
was it without doubt.
Is that means he done something there that and there's been many a great player, many of Henry won 2 league titles. So many players have won much more than that in terms of their career in English football.
Not an argument. Best
Henry
player
is
best player ever played Premier League.
Look what Salah done last season, but Henry's better. Look what a few seasons.
No argument.
Better. Look what Rooney done over 10, 12 years, but Henry's better. Look what Shearer's goals, but Henry just transcended, Premier League football.
Bergkamp's unbelievable. Bergkamp's unbelievable player.
Yeah.
But if you was to say Bergkamp and Henry takes Bergkamp out, you know what I mean? Which is unbelievable to say.
Mad. I mean, the way they treated the number 10, giving it to Gallas, I wish they retired that too. But again,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's
they
it's
did
what the
retire
club
it.
does,
They did
innit?
retire it for a year, like, you know what I mean? That was a retirement, giving it to Gallas. Well, that just shows you about numbers, you know what I mean? Like, that was a ridiculous decision.